Now, knowing you, I know that you're aware of the things that people are saying. You're moving up in two-weight classes. You're the smaller man. Whatever you do, Terence Crawford, don't exchange against him. What do you feel you have to do?
Be myself. I'm 41-0 for a reason.
Stephen A.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play the
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of...
For more than 2 decades, everyone believed Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record would never be surpassed. He was the ghost inside the ring, a defensive genius who made legends look ordinary. But after one historic night, a single statement from the only man who faced them both threatened to shatter that entire legacy. The debate was no longer about who was better. It was about whether Mayweather's entire era had just been eclipsed. The firestorm began the moment Terence Crawford's hand was raised after his masterful victory over Canelo Alvarez, achieving what many thought was impossible.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful...
But the real shock came at the post-fight press conference. When Canelo was asked to compare Crawford to his former opponent Floyd Mayweather, he didn't hesitate, even with the world's media hanging on his every word.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Coming from the only fighter on the planet who had shared the ring with both men, this wasn't just an opinion, it was a bombshell that sent shockwaves through boxing. That single remark reignited a debate that had been simmering for years, drawing powerful voices into the conversation. Stephen A. Smith, watching closely from the sidelines, was immediately captivated. Like many, he expected Crawford to rely on his technical skills and fight from the outside against a stronger man, but that's not what happened.
Jay Crawford making my prediction come through. Coming into the fight, I had him winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch. And as long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took some body shots to the liver, took some headshots, exchanged, and still ended up winning this fight. I thought from the 8th round on, he just put on a boxing clinic. And I gotta give credit where credit is due. Crawford deserved to win the fight.
Smith was astonished that Crawford didn't just survive. He stepped into the fire and traded punches with Canelo. He proved he had more than just talent. He had grit. As Smith said, what I didn't expect was for him to stand there, exchange, and still dominate. He even broke down the fight, saying he had it scored 5-4 in Crawford's favor after 9 rounds, before Crawford put on a clinic in the final 3. Crawford absorbed Canelo's power and responded with sharp, fearless counters, thriving where most smaller fighters would have fallen apart.
Special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior boxer in the ring. He finds a way to win. No matter who he's going up against, no matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational kind of fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was a better man. And he's not one who believes that just a knockout does that. He likes outboxing you and showing you that his skill level is superior to yours. And
Stephen A. praised it as a masterclass, but while deeply impressed, he wasn't ready to dethrone the king, because he remembered another kind of master, a phantom in the ring that even Crawford, for all his heart, had not yet matched.
Was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring, knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much. And literally walked in the ring and said, I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
This is where Stephen A. Smith drew the line, making a crucial distinction that changed the entire discussion. He reminded everyone that Floyd Mayweather was a defensive enigma, a magician whose main objective was to win without being hit. With hands that were notoriously brittle during the second half of his career, Floyd knew he couldn't rely on knockout power. This wasn't speculation, it was a well-documented reality.
Brother looks me in my face and he says, I'm gonna take him out about the 8th or 9th round. And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're gonna do this? He said, Stephen A., he's a UFC fighter. He said, and he's a striker. He's accustomed to coming at you and throwing punches. What he's not accustomed to doing is punching while he's throwing backwards, while he's moving backwards and pushing you off of him. He says, I'm gonna walk right into him and stay at his chest. He's gonna have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's gonna be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not gonna have any legs. He's gonna be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round. And that is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did. He told me exactly what he was gonna do, and he did it.
He's the man.
Mayweather himself admitted his hands are real brittle and revealed he couldn't even spar for a month before the Conor McGregor fight due to injury.
You hurt your hand? Huh? I thought you hurt your hand myself. Okay, all right. Relax, baby, the job is done already.
Put in a bucket of ice, man. Get a bucket of ice, it's killing me.
I'm saying Shane hit me with a hell of a shot. Okay. Actually, 2 shots. Oh, okay. But even in that particular round, what I said to Shane was this. I was like, you said something to him when you grabbed him. I said, you gotta kill me.
Oh shit.
I wasn't ready, Floyd. I said that was a good one. I said that was a good one, but you gotta kill me. Wow. I said you gotta kill me. And did I mean I'm not gonna lie.
Mayweather himself admitted, my hands are real brittle, and revealed that before the Conor McGregor fight, he couldn't even spar for a full month due to injury.
Was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twisted. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number.
Adding another controversial layer, reports have long suggested that in the latter half of his career, Mayweather fought almost exclusively in Las Vegas, one of the few places allowing fighters to use numbing injections like xylocaine for hand pain. It hinted that his hand problems were a major strategic factor in where and how he fought. Instead, he perfected his defense until he became virtually untouchable.
I can't say he capping. I can't, because I don't know what he felt. But when I heard that, what I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe. But I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he's been doing and all that, trust me, it's some wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what it gives it that air.
I also think you got to remember when you talking about a Mexican fighter, they big on punishment. He might also feel Crawford punches harder than Floyd and took more chances than Floyd took. Floyd really was super speed that night. Everything speed. And it irritated Canelo because Canelo couldn't do what he wanted to do. And he looked nothing like himself. Like I said, I think it was just times where Canelo felt like, damn, I could have had it. With Floyd, I think he felt like paralyzed. Like, damn, I can't catch this motherfucker. He too fast. But with Crawford, I felt like he maybe was saying, damn, I could have, if I would have threw this or if I would have did that. You know what I mean? Because it was times Crawford sat there and caught a punch and countered back. You know what I'm saying? He let Canelo throw. Like, go ahead, throw your shit. He caught that shit, boom, and come right back with the hook. The same shot he caught Earl with. He was touching Canelo with some of that same shit, man. And it was just like, and it was times where Crawford was imposing himself on Canelo. He was stepping to Canelo at times. He didn't do it the whole fight, but I'm just saying it was times he stepped to him. Floyd did too, but Floyd just was so fast, so much faster, and the education was like totally different. Like when Canelo fought Floyd, Canelo was in middle school. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Floyd by that time was already a Harvard graduate. You know what I'm saying? So
in Stephen A's own words,
I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring and put on masterful performances because he was so superior skill-wise and defensively. You can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often because you couldn't hit him.
Trainer Greg Hackett echoed this view, arguing that the Floyd who faced Canelo was a complete polished fighter, calm, calculated, and flawless, in contrast to Crawford's wilder, more aggressive approach.
Remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw, and then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, very obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 30.
Crawford, on the other hand, absorbed Canelo's punches and proved both his chin and toughness. But in Stephen A. Smith's eyes, the fact that he had to prove his durability was exactly what separated him from Floyd. Before the debate could get any more heated, many fans and analysts pointed to a simpler truth: the two men were products of different eras. This wasn't just about skill, it was about time and legacy. Even Terence Crawford himself acknowledged this with grace, saying, "Floyd is the best fighter of his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter of mine."
Between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, we've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
yes,
fight.
Yes, sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah,
yes. He's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ and that
shit. The funny thing about it is Terence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
gotta pioneer it, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's an OG you can't out-figure out somewhere, and I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't out.
That perspective added a crucial layer of nuance, suggesting that greatness isn't a single path that continues forever, but something defined by dominance in a specific era. Further complicating any direct comparison was the age factor. Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, reminded everyone that Floyd was already 36 and past his physical prime when he fought a young, hungry Canelo. That small detail makes comparing a peak Crawford to a seasoned Canelo nearly impossible.
He's three division undisputed, moved up 2 divisions to beat Canelo. So he's probably he's accomplished more than more than Mayweather for sure. Mayweather never became undisputed, but that doesn't mean he's better than Mayweather. I think in a fight at welterweight, Mayweather in his prime would beat Crawford, and Pacquiao in his prime would probably beat Crawford. But Crawford has come.
In that light, the argument shifts from who's better head-to-head to two kings who ruled their own thrones in different times.
Because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain.
The debate over their defensive styles and peak performances will likely continue forever, but one undeniable fact remains. Terence Crawford achieved something that even Floyd Mayweather never did.
About this kid Ryan Garcia. Tank got his followers from kicking ass. Ryan Garcia got his followers from YouTubers. There's a difference. So you want to be a YouTuber or you want to be a fighter? Tank is a fighter.
How did Gervonta know that my rib got separated while I was in the fight? Or before the fight? How do you think they got the information? You got to pay. Who do you think told me that they paid? So I know how much money it takes to betray Ryan Garcia.
By defeating Canelo, Crawford became the first male boxer in history to become the undisputed champion in 3 separate weight divisions. The achievement was so monumental that influential boxing figure Turkey Alashik immediately labeled Crawford the fighter of the century. To put it in perspective, while Mayweather won titles across 5 divisions, he never held all 4 belts in any of them at once. Crawford, however, unified every single belt in 3 different weight classes. This was no fluke. It was the result of a meticulously planned training camp. Crawford later explained that his team focused entirely on building strength and endurance to handle Canelo's power. That preparation paid off, etching his name into history with a distinction even Mayweather couldn't claim. But the difference between the two wasn't only in the belts they collected, it was in the way they built their legacies. Floyd Mayweather was more than a fighter, he was the CEO of his own career. As analyst Max Kellerman once put it, once Floyd moved up from lightweight, his career became a masterclass in strategic matchmaking. He chose the right fights at the right times in the right circumstances, ensuring that every risk carried maximum reward.
Crawford is better. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. But Mayweather's definitely technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford this.
That strategy, however, has drawn criticism from the new generation. Active star Ryan Garcia delivered a bold take, claiming that Mayweather mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to, accusing him of changing the sport by avoiding fighters in their absolute prime.
Jordan, we're switching the bat.
Huh?
We're definitely switching our bat.
What? What you mean?
No.
Don't stay with Canelo.
I'm going with Crawford.
If
he's
saying that.
Crawford, on the other hand, has been a force of nature, a man willing to face anyone, anytime, to prove his dominance. In a prime-for-prime matchup, the physical stats already tell part of the story. Crawford stands an inch taller, and more importantly has a 3-inch reach advantage, a crucial factor in technical boxing that even a prime Mayweather would have struggled to overcome. His resume is stacked, and for years fans have watched him call out the best, refusing to dodge any challenge. Beyond his fearless mindset, many experts point to his natural athletic advantages. As boxing legend Shane Mosley put it